Gerda rode through the thick woods, and the carriage sparkled and shone like diamonds. All of a sudden, a band of robbers jumped out from behind the bushes.
"Halt, if you value your life,"
cried the robbers, flashing their swords menacingly. They pushed away the coachman and everybody else and caught hold of the horse by its reins. The leaders of the robbers was a tall female robber who looked fearsome and bold. Her daughter, a girl about Gerda's age, was sitting on her shoulders, watching everything with shining eyes.
"Ouch!"
she cried, and dropped the knife that she'd raised. Her daughter had bitten her in the ears.
"You will not harm the little girl,"
said the daughter.
"She will stay in our castle and play with me."
After they'd looted everything, the female robber and the robber maiden got into their carriage. They made Gerda get inside as well. They rode for a long time through the thick woods. The robber maiden took Gerda's warm woolen muff for herself. Then she hugged Gerda and said,
"Nobody will harm you as long as we're friends. But if you dare to refuse to be my friend, I'll push you off the carriage."
It seemed like they'd been riding forever, but the carriage finally stopped in front of an old and crumbling castle. It was riddled with many pigeonholes and looked so ramshackle that Gerda was afraid that it would fall down. The robber maiden led Gerda straight to her room, which had carpets and straw beds in the corner.
"You shall spend the night with me and my little friends,"
said the robber maiden, pointing to the pigeons. Gerda noticed that there were about 100 pigeons, and all of them were fast asleep. In a corner stood a reindeer. He had a copper ring around his neck.
"Meet my pet,"
said the robber maiden, pointing to the reindeer. After they'd had a meal and settled down to sleep, the robber maiden said,
"Now tell me, what brought you here to the dark woods all alone?"
Gerda narrated everything that had happened. She told her about Kay and how much she missed him. The robber maiden listened, but soon she grew drowsy and slept. She kept her hand over Gerda while she slept. The robber maiden was snoring loudly, but Gerda was wide awake. Suddenly, the pigeons called out to her.
"Oh, we've seen the boy. We've seen him travel in a sledge pulled by a white carriage,"
they said.
"It belongs to the Snow Queen."
"Do you know where they are headed?"
Gerda asked, hopefully.
"The Snow Queen has gone to Lapland, where there is ice and snow everywhere. Ask the reindeer. He knows the place well,"
said the pigeons.
"Of course I know the place,"
said the reindeer.
"It's a glorious place, and it is beautiful. The Snow Queen has her summer tent there, but she doesn't live there. She lives in the icy cold North Pole."
"Oh, poor Kay. He'll be taken there unless we rescue him soon,"
said Gerda, and slept with a heavy heart. In the morning, she told the robber maiden about what the pigeons and the reindeer had told her.
"If you want to see your friend so badly, I'll help you,"
the robber maiden said gruffly.
"We'll have to be quick, because if my mother wakes up, you'll never be able to escape."
"Oh, thank you so much,"
said Gerda. The robber maiden looked straight at the reindeer and asked,
"If I set you free, will you take this little girl safely to Lapland?"
The reindeer nodded and jumped in delight. She didn't waste any time. She threw the door open and lifted Gerda onto the reindeer's back.
"Here, have these woolen gloves, for you'll need them,"
she said, stuffing a pair of gloves into Gerda's hands.
"I want the woolen muff for myself, but these will do for you."
She then untied the rope, and the reindeer bounded out of the room quickly. The reindeer leapt through bushes and crossed the moors fast as he could. Before long, they were in Lapland.
"Some pigeons saw Kay, and they say that he is in the Snow Queen's palace in Lapland."
"Lapland? Reindeer, do you know where that is?"
"Of course. I was born there. I played on the snowy fields when I was young."
"Well, little girl, I'm ready to help you, and even lend you my reindeer. But you can't just ride on it. You have to find a rope and a pillow to make a saddle.